And that's how you make your own Hot Pockets. Thanks for listening to the Hot Pocket Podcast. We're going to turn it over now to WDRNK on the same frequency. Good night. No, it's not. I mean, what it is, it's not that they didn't bring me the garlic butter, Tom. What it is.
Yeah, I totally understand.
Yeah, it's that they didn't bring it when I asked for it. Look, I'm not an asshole. They didn't bring it to me. I understand, but when I ask for it, that's when I expect to receive it, and they say, "Oh, you got to pay extra. It's supposed to come with the meal."
Yeah, I understand. But did you have to?
Did I have to what, Tom?
I mean, did you have to beat him in the head with a soldering iron?
It was all I had on me, Tom. I could just, I mean, I would have been a regular, normal human being, a gentleman, and I would have beat him to death with something like a tire iron. But
wait a minute, you beat him to death?
No, it's not. Look, the point is that if you're in the service industry, you should serve. You know?
I think we're about to be on the air.
Damn it, Tom, will you... Oh, Christ. Again. Will you roll the intro, Tom? Just, if you can, Tom.
I'm on it, boss.
From somewhere out there, WDRNK, with your host, Tad Ghostal. Well, hello everyone out there, and Tom, can you cut the music? Tom, cut the music.
On it, sorry.
Tom, cut the Is that it? Is it off?
Yeah, it's off.
Christ. This is why I cut your health care, you know.
You shot me last week.
Yeah, I know, but I still cut your health care. Maybe the gangrene in your fucking shoulder will teach you a lesson. WDRNK is on the air. Now, let's talk about something very important. To me, and I believe to Tom, right, Tom? Well, it looks like Tom's mic is cut out. So, important to me and to Tom, isn't that right, Tom? Always mouthing something, but I can't hear him, can I?
Yeah, you can hear me.
Vitamins. A lot of you who do drink don't take the proper amount of vitamins you should, and especially your B complex. B complex will keep to put it for a layman, they will keep the sheaths around your nerves, especially where they're thinner around the feet and the hands. They will keep them from wearing away the myelin sheaths on your nerves. You need to take your vitamin B complex tablet, specifically vitamin B12, but I recommend a full vitamin B complex tablet. Depends on where you live. If you live in the States, you can get them for about $1 a bottle, 150 tablets. And you can take, until you figure out how much you need, three times a day. It won't hurt you. The excess gets pissed out when you go to the bathroom. Your piss is almost like glow in the dark. It won't hurt you. Then when you figure out how much you need, then you can adjust your dosage. But for now, take it and nuke it from orbit. Because you do not want neuropathy. You'll feel like you're wearing either thick socks on your feet or worse, barely feel them, or get the tingles. Heavy tingles. You don't want to have to look at your feet to see where you're walking, because that will happen. Look, we're all in this game together. We know you're not going to quit. So at least try and stretch a few more good years out. Use the vitamins. They're only $1 a week. $1 every couple of weeks, and you'll be fine. Isn't that right, Tom?
I can't feel my foot because you shot it.
That's right, Tom agrees.
I'm not agreeing. I'm calling out for help.
That's Tom in the sound booth, ladies and gentlemen. He does a great job sometimes, don't you, Tom?
Yeah.
And when you don't do a good job, what happens?
I get shot in the foot.
Yep. And we're going to go up from the foot. If you keep fucking up your job, you had one thing to do, Tom, and that's to cue the sound on time. So, we've got some viewer questions. Viewer. It's fucking radio. You don't view it. We've got some listener questions in. Janice from Spokane wrote a letter, and she asks, what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object? Well, a lot of you drinkers might know the answer to this question. It's when you sit down on the toilet and you have terrible diarrhea for about 2 inches, then finally it breaks out and unplugs the cork from the gigantic Wendy's chili batch you had brewing in your intestines. What else do we have here? Let's do another one. Let's take another, taking a little dead air here today. But you can hear the birds outside. I forget about, at this point, it's about 45. They're all wild. They come up to visit and sing, and I feed them, and they sometimes come in the house, but it's not, they're not pet birds. Let's see. All right, so we have got from Ray French. He wants to know, Dear Tad, throughout my life, I'd begun to believe that being an alcoholic was the sum of my past, present, and future. I was feeling good with that. I was minding my own business and content with it, but then something happened and I let go of the lingering embrace. Do you think Axl Rose should keep getting fatter and singing stuff like, Welcome to the Walmart! We got buns and cakes! You can have anything you want, including gummy snakes! Well, Ray, I would say this to you. Perhaps if you lost your embrace with your alcoholism and feeling like it was super cohesive, it means that there's something in your life that has happened that caused you to be that way. Drinking always comes from someplace. And that place is usually somewhere where you take the first drink because you're trying to comfort yourself and you've heard it will do you some good. Sometimes it comes from peer pressure to try it, and you find, again, that it just makes everyday life a little bit better. But overall, it usually comes from a place where you have had too many buns and cakes from Walmart. Pick an addiction. High-carb snack foods, or the creature that encompasses this entire world that will eventually put his cold, uncaring hand around our throat and drag us down and drown us into an ocean of what we're already addicted to. Let's read some more viewer mail. Let's see here. Someone has requested, Dear Tad, can you play Walk Like an Egyptian? Well, I clearly asked for questions, but what we can do is go ahead and play Walk Like an Egyptian. Let me just grab the old axe. Not the one that I killed my ex-wife with, by the way. You know. I'll grab my other kind of axe.
Don't ever find the body. I swear I hit it right.
I didn't ask you a goddamn thing, Ted.
Sorry, can I see my kid soon?
Maybe if you get the timing right on the fucking sound files when I ask you to. You're in the sound booth, okay? That's your one job, the sound guy.
Actually, I was the janitor. You locked me in here.
I locked you in there because you weren't doing your job.
My job was to clean up.
Just, why don't you clean up your attitude? How's that? So I'll grab my axe and we'll play Walk Like an Egyptian here on WDRNK before we go to commercial. Let me make sure she's tuned. Gotta give her a tune-up. Speaking of tune-up, have you had any sort of visit with a doctor recently? You know, when you drink a lot, you've got to keep an eye on a few things. Your pancreas, your gallbladder, because drinking can make it hyperdense. And if you've got too large of a lipase level in your bloodstream, it can start attacking your other organs like your kidneys. There are several apps, and I hate that word because I'm not a modern man, but there are several apps that you can go and find where you can order blood tests without a doctor's signature. Then you simply pay the price through the app, bring it to your local blood center, and they will take your blood and do the tests paid for without you needing a doctor's permission. Nothing shady. It's just a service that is provided by a third-party company. I think that anybody alive should be able to test their own blood. You can go for your lipase levels. You can go for your liver enzymes. Even if you think you have a thyroid problem, you can have your T3 and T4 tested. So, do what you can to keep yourself healthy. Self-healthy. Man, I am toasted. To keep yourself healthy. You might hear a bird outside. That is, I think I'm going to call her Jennifer. She's a magpie baby. And she's been coming around more and more often. She's a bit young to be on her own. But she's been coming around without her parents. And she's very kind and very sweet. She stands by the door and waits for food, and then when there are other birds around, she stands back on the yard and waits for me to throw the other birds food first, and when I throw something into her, even though I use the signal that magpies use, it's swirling your finger and pointing. Even though she does, and she knows it's for her, she still waits a moment, looks in all the other birds and makes sure that they have enough to eat. She makes sure everybody's got a piece of food, and then she'll go for hers very timidly. She's sitting on a chair about 6 feet away from me and warbling and singing, and just being a general good spirit. So, if you have any birds or you live anywhere where there are birds, try and make friends with them. It's worth it. Especially when you don't think you have anybody to talk to or anybody around. Wild animals are absolutely amazing because they are like neighbors and family. But if you ever, some of you I know, go blackout drunk, some of you I know can't eat and have to lay and shake, some of you get the idea. It's not like a cat where you have to give it to somebody else or say, if you don't feed it, it'll die. It's not a parasitic relationship, or symbiotic even. They come, if you feed them, you feed them, if you don't, you don't. And they come and do good things for you as well. So, anyhow, make some friends out there. The good kind of friends, the kind that don't really worry if you aren't around and don't blame you. And now, from the Bangles, Walk Like an Egyptian before we go to commercial. That sounds in tune, right? If anyone thinks it doesn't sound in tune, go ahead and call in. No, that sounds right. All the men at the marketplace say, way oh, way oh, way oh, way oh. Walk like an Egyptian. Walk like an Egyptian. We'll be right back after these commercial sausages. Have you been tired? Have you been lonely? Have you been looking for a new drug? One that won't make you sick? One that won't shrink your dick? Jonathan Industries has a new product on the market. We'd love to tell you about it, but unfortunately we can't. It's not FDA approved. Write your local congressman to have Jonathan Industries approved by the FDA to release whatever the hell they want. Hey, doctors are throwing pills at you anyway. What's the point in not letting us do it too? Ours actually work. Probably. You know, when I was a young man, I had one problem. John Thomas, head of CeeLo Industries. My problem was that I was in a wheelchair. And my father, he put me there. Now you might be thinking perhaps child abuse. You might perhaps be thinking some car accident. He was driving drunk. No, my father never laid a hand on me violently. He just put me in a wheelchair. He thought it was cool. I went my entire childhood in that goddamn thing. But now, I've learned to walk on my own 2 feet. 2 feet manufactured with metal because my legs were so atrophied from spending all of my halcyon years sitting in a chair due to my father's own arrogance. But those feet can also be yours. That's right, the C3B97. Metal feet that I've created, that I wear, and that you can have in a beautiful collector's set to put on your shelf, next to the lovely china plates that I sell. Just call 1-800-687-9934, 62873-412918. And you too can have metal feet like I do. But you won't have to attach them to your Achilles tendon and stretch them over your fucking toes, Dad. How's it feel to be in a wheelchair now? Huh? You old fuck. That's 1-800-987-3866-7632-94-389-997-8632. I remember when my father father, mother. He was quadgendered. When he finally said to me, "Son, daughter, it's time to get some life insurance." And now I, with a pingina, also tell my children, it's time to get some life insurance. Jonestown Life Insurance. When you don't know what kind of coffin you'd like to be buried in, or even what gender you are, chances are your kids are going to be so fucked they will need life insurance when they're 5. A Cisco Corporation. And now we're back to WDRNK. I hope everyone enjoyed. Now we're going to play a lovely song. This one is called Sleep, My Darling. At least I think it is. Hang on. It's just called Sleep, My Dear. Here on WDRNK. Yeah, I can edit it in, but I don't fucking edit anything. It's one take and nothing. And that was Sleep, My Dear. And now we have the second version with saxophone, while your host, Tad Ghostal, has a bit of a drink himself. Water, of course, don't worry, I wouldn't want to scare you. Only water. Absolutely no alcohol.
Ted, you know that's not water, it's just clear.
Hey, how about I nail your other foot to the floor, Tom?
I'll just keep killing the music.
Tom, ladies and gentlemen, he's the right. entire atmosphere on fire. But if you've got them, enjoy. And for those of you out there who vape, well, try a gun next time. Faggots. If you vape, there's a little public service announcement for you. If you vape, have a tattoo, or a child out of wedlock, get yourself out of the dream pool for the rest of us. Try and only have one problem at a time, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what other viewer mail we have here at the WDRNK studios. Alright. So this is from Jeremy in Kuala Lumpur. Jeremy asks, what are the best drugs to combine with alcohol? Oh, best and worst drugs, it says here. The mailman does not always bring these intact. What are the best and worst drugs to combine with alcohol? I know there are a lot of bad interactions, but what works well with booze? Well, Jeremy, my advice to you would be the same advice I gave to the tattooed single mother freaks. One addiction at a time, son. There is no good drug to combine with alcohol. The best you can do is to consume caffeine, because caffeine, if taken before you start drinking, has been shown in clinical studies to give you some sort of protection, albeit small, from having a bout of pancreatitis. Outside of that, I would recommend against marijuana. It does not mix well with alcohol. I would also recommend against any sort of opioid or anything that hits your GABA receptors, because you're going to be wearing those out pretty quick the way you're probably drinking. And so you don't want to take anything that is a bit harder, because you're just going to raise your resistance in some ways to the thing that's keeping you alive daily. I would recommend, however, dextromethorphan. Robo-tripping, the kids call it, or they called it that in the 90s. I found that when I use that particular drug, I don't have a craving for alcohol. After what they call the purging, you get vomiting and diarrhea. But after that, as long as you've got air conditioning, you're golden. Your body stops having that heavy feeling. You're light. Your mind's a bit clearer. And at least from my experience from doing it several times over the years, having a whole summer where that was all I did, drug-wise, you will have a hangover that is so light it makes you feel like a regular person again. But while you're on it, it will make you hot physically. Not physically like you're thinking, not like your mother who has large, breasticles. But it will make your body temperature rise extremely, it will make you throw up, and you will have diarrhea. But after you purge, it's actually not that much different than ayahuasca with sort of the symptoms. Well, not symptoms, I should say effects. But, once it hits, by God, man. And then the hangover, you won't drink again for a few days. And this is coming from, and I've mentioned it before, this is coming from somebody who drinks 1 to 1.5 liters of 40% spirits per day for the past coming on 20 years, probably. It's good stuff. I weigh, and this is not a heavy thing. I am blessed with natural muscle. I could flip a Buick. I weigh somewhere around 380 and I'm 6'6". I take three bottles of the Robitussin gel cap pills. So figure out your milligram per kilogram, which if you're taking any drug, you should know your milligram per kilogram dosage. That's the standard way that you dose drugs. That's the clinical way to dose drugs. I was pre-med. I mean, I guess everyone's pre-med when you think about it. But figure out your dosage for your body weight. Write into the show if you want to know what the dosage for your body weight would be. And yeah, Bob's your uncle there. We have another viewer mail. It says, Dear Tad, I listen to your show every time it's on. Well, that would be twice now. Tell me, how much does your show cost to produce? It sounds like it costs about 35 cents. You missed by a nickel there, sport.
Speaking of which, when am I gonna get paid?
I'll pay you in the blood of my ancestors if you screw with me again, Tom.
Oh shit, can I get a muffin?
Muffins are for earners!
Can I have a bagel?
Yeah, you can have a bagel. Just keep your hands off the, those crunchy things. The things I toast in the oven, Tom. English muffins, yeah, just stay away from the English muffins. And now, WDRNK, we have for you a very special event. We have an interview with Tom Waits. Tom, how are you doing?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. I'm rattling rusty bones and shit.
Oh, okay, Tom, tell us about your new album.
I ain't put an album out and holding along on the broken glass.
Okay, and are you touring now?
I'm just I'm out back behind where you live. Woman's into.
God damn it. Tom.
Yeah?
Tom, this isn't Tom Waits, is it?
Well, no, I couldn't get Tom Waits.
This is the homeless guy that lives back behind the studio, isn't it?
Well, I mean, technically, no. I mean, if he lives back there, he's not homeless.
Oh, for Christ's sake, Tom. And I was gonna let you see your family for Christmas.
Really? Oh, really, you were?
Yeah, but don't feel too bad. It was a Polaroid. Let's see here. Tom, can you at least, since you can't form a cogent sentence, you moron, can you at least perhaps bring us something up that we could listen to? Something, what do you call it in the radio industry? 'Cause I'm stuck here just like him. Radio industry. You call it, what's that thing? I got it. It's, I think it's called a song. Tom, can you cue up a song?
I mean, I guess yeah, I'll cue up a song. Can I see my family?
Tell you what, Tom. I'm going to come right in there and show you your family.
No, I don't mean the Polaroid tape to the crowbar.
I just tried to give you what you wanted, Tom. What? Why are you crying? Tom, why are you crying?
I'm not crying. I'm bleeding from the eyes.
Oh, well, we're all good then.
Tom, cue up that Juice Newton thing.
I just fucked up when I talked into the microphone. Tom, cue up that Juice Newton thing.
I'm on it, Tad.
And, of course, this is what we call dead air because Tom isn't doing his job.
It's hard to do it with two broken fingers on each hand, Tad.
Well, you'll figure it out. Otherwise, I'll find my gun. You remember when I found my gun? You remember in the first episode when I found my gun?
Yes, Tad. Good callback.
Yeah, that's right. Nobody listened to the first episode, I'm sure, but hey, I had a gun. Cue it, Tom.
There'll be no strings to bind your hand, not if my love can find your heart. There's no need to take a stand, for it was I who chose to start.
She's been sitting on that chair. She's real sweet, that man. I want to feed her while you
I
listen to
see
this.
no need to take me home. I'm old
Could you
enough
feed me
to
too?
face the dawn.
It's not Thursday, is it, Tom?
Just call me angel of the morning, angel. Just take my cheek before you leave me, baby. Just call me angel of the morning, angel. Then slowly turn away from me. Maybe the sun's light will be dim, and it won't matter anyhow. If morning's echo says we've sinned, well, it was what I wanted now. And if we're victims of the night, I won't be blinded by the light. Just call me angel of the morning, angel. Just take my cheek before you leave me, baby. Just call me angel of the morning, angel. Then slowly turn away. I won't beg you to stay. Just
don't want to do the job right, I'll find somebody else to do it. I don't hit you because... Oh, we're back. Welcome to WDRNK. And we're just going to have our station ID. Can you do that, Tom? Can you cue the station ID?
WDRNK, where everybody is not. Can I go home?
Yes, that's right. WDRNK, 1.457 kilohertz on your radio dial. And it's time for more listener mail. We have a couple of more things here. Let's see. What do we have? We have someone asking, can you play some of the Carpenters' Christmas hits? Well, I don't know if I can do it on the guitar. But let's see if she's in tune. Sounds about right. This was from Mary in West Virginia. Asked, can I play some of the Carpenters' Christmas hits? First off, you got dumb slit. I don't believe that the Carpenters ever had a Christmas hit. I don't think anyone ever had a Christmas hit outside of Elvis that I'm thinking of, or Perry Como, or well, I mean, Bing Crosby had a Christmas hit, but it was hitting his kids with his fist. Bing Crosby used to beat the shit out of his kids. But he had some good ones. So, the Carpenters' Christmas hits. Wouldn't that just be the sound of a hammer smacking across a wooden floor sometime around December 25th? That would be a Carpenters' Christmas hit. We'll see what we can do for you, darling, after these messages. Hey, kids, are you tired of the same old dinner? Yeah! You're ungrateful shit. Adoption. Consider putting them up for it. Paid for by the council to stop shitty kids from becoming shittier. Boom, 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 boom. You know, I care about this country. Boom, boom, boom. My father worked his feet off to make sure that there was enough left for us. Boom, 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 boom. But there are certain people who believe that they shouldn't have to work. No, no, no. Like my father did. When you vote this November, remember, there are two kinds of people. One who wants to make this country into a parody of what it is, and others who don't like niggers and women, paid for by the council to make America not great again, but just stop talking about fucking politics. .com. This is Ted Ghostel here from WDRNK. We're not on the air. You see, this is pre-recorded as opposed to recording it afterwards. This is a PSA. Or, shall we say, a promo. Whatever you want to call it, it doesn't matter. You're drinking so goddamn much you're not going to remember this tomorrow. But people ask me often, Ted, why? And when I start to answer, because there's a lot of reasons they could ask me why about a lot of terrible things I've done, before I can answer, I hear, why do you do what you do on the radio? Well, you know, lot of people ask me why I do what I do. In the tabloids, saying I put on a condom but take it off before I penetrate an intern. Saying that I might sell methanol to young children and it makes them go blind because it's the offcuts of the alcohol I make at home. Saying that I claim I'll only put the tip in, and before they know it, I'm balls deep. Saying that even though I claim I take the HIV medication, I am still spreading the virus that they claim causes AIDS. Claiming that the black people who work at the studio are my actual property. They ask me, Ted, how do you keep going? How do you keep it together? It's you, the listeners. How do I keep it together? How do I pull it in and keep it tight enough to deliver you quality radio entertainment? It's that red light on the switchboard. So we've got some more viewer mail, and then we're back to WDRNK. What we have here. Oh God, Tom, really? Are you out of your fucking mind? Turn it off.
I didn't realize that you were done.
Yeah, you know what? If you did your job, you'd realize that was done. For fuck's sake, I had the crescendo, I had the end to it. It was perfect, and it popped. And you turned the music back on.
I leaned forward because of my foot.
If I hear one more thing about your goddamn foot, Tom, I'm gonna cut it off instead of shooting it again.
I'd actually kind of prefer that.
Well, then, now you don't get it. Turn the music off, Tom. Alright. This is WDRNK. Here for all of you-know-who. Who shall not be named. Man, that was a shitty series of books and movies. Anyway. Back to WDRNK. And now it's time for the Poetry Corner. Roses are red. I already did this gag, I think. Roses are red, violets are blue. Oh my emotion. I can't say. Roses are red, violets are blue. Oh my emotion. Yeah, that worked. Did that work? That sounded good, yeah. I know Japanese. I pronounced that right. Yeah, that sound good, Tom?
I'm losing a lot of blood here.
I'll take that as a yes. Okay, let's talk vomiting. Why do you do it? Why do you need to do it? There's two reasons to vomit, generally. You have an actual sickness in your stomach. You feel nauseous from somewhere above the belly button. There's also the throat sickness. You got some mucus in your throat. You wake up and your throat is dry. And of course, we're not going to talk about how you guys get sick from drinking, like the spinny if you're gonna drink for the rest of your life, your short fucking life, you should not, worry about that because it's just gonna happen. If you're dumb enough to drink so much you get sick. Anyhow, as far as sickness goes, if it's genuine, you just can't help it from the stomach. Not nausea, but like a Bernie stomach. Throw up. If, however, you feel nausea and you can hold it down for a few seconds, few tricks. Starbursts. Nibble on the side of a starburst, and while you're chewing the starburst, smell it. You can do the same thing with a lemon, but don't chew it. Just cut a fresh lemon and smell it. It will kill off nausea. Citrus. The smell and taste of it kills off nausea. The only reason I say don't eat some of the lemon is simply because you're already killing your tongue from your drinking habit. Another thing to say, we'll get back to the nausea thing in a moment. Another thing is if you're drinking hard liquor, doing shots, or just drinking it straight out of the bottle, take a tip from bulimics, because they throw up and there's all that acid that erodes their teeth and their mouth. You ever get the Bernie tongue? You ever wake up in the morning and spit out blood? That can be stopped within a week. Every time you take a shot of hard liquor, wash your mouth out with a little bit of water and swallow it. And then take one more small drink of water to clear out your esophagus so that acidic garbage is not sitting in your mouth and, tearing apart your esophagus. Keep drinking, guys. But try and be as healthy about it as you can. Okay? I barely have any listeners as it is. If too many of you die, they're going to replace me with John Jeremy, his looks at books. You can't even see a book on the radio. But he's got looks at books. He says, look at this one. So, yeah, if enough of you die, I'm going to lose my spot here on WDRNK. So keep yourselves healthy. And we're coming up on the end of the hour. We're going to go ahead and end it with a lovely song that has the word skeet in it 18 times. No. But we are coming up at the end of the hour. We're going to have to acquiesce to WTRNK, people who love talking about old steamer trunks that sailors kept with them. And so, we're gonna go ahead and say goodbye here in a moment. We'll play you one last song. And, if you've made it this far on the radio program, well, good for you. You clearly are either too drunk to be smart or just fucking lonely. Or a combination of the two. I think they kind of go together. So, before we go, we're going to play, due to a viewer request, Bob Dylan's Don't Think Twice. Okay, Jesus. Seriously, really? Tom, it's almost going home time. You can't play one good file on time when it's going home time?
Well, you don't let me go home.
That is absolutely irrelevant. You cocksucking, stool-pushing, prolapsed rectum. Just play the goddamn song. And you know what? Maybe I'll give you something to eat aside from cat, biscuits. The cat, little crunchy ones you like?
I don't like them.
All right, play the song then.
Are you?
Are you trying to use the microphone to break the door? You know when you do that, I can hear it. I put a speaker next to the door.
No. So I'll play the song.
I feel terrible for your children.
So do I, since you don't let me see them.
You can't play a song on time. I really don't think you could be a decent father. Just play the damn song.
Well, it ain't no use to sit and wonder why, baby. Even you don't know by now. And it ain't no use to sit and wonder why, baby. It'll never do somehow. When your rooster crows at the break of dawn, look out your window and I'll be gone. You're the reason I'm traveling on, but don't think twice, it's alright. And it ain't no use in turning on your light, baby. The light I never knowed. And it ain't no use in turning on your light, baby. I'm on the dark side of the road. But I wish there was something you would do or say to try and make me change my mind and stay. But we never did too much talking anyway. But don't think twice, it's alright. So it ain't no use in calling out my name, gal, like you never done before. And it ain't no use in calling out my name, gal, I can't hear you anymore. I'm a-thinking and a-wondering, walking down the road. I once loved a woman, a child I am told. I give her my heart, but she wanted my soul. But don't think twice, it's alright. So long, honey, baby, where I'm bound, I can't tell. Goodbye is too good a word, baby, so I just say fare thee well. I ain't a-saying you treated me unkind. You could have done better, but I don't mind. You just kinda wasted my precious time. But don't think twice, it's alright.
That about rounds out the hour. WDRNK. Remember, you made this choice. Well, maybe it took control of you after a while. But it's my choice to make sure that I stay here and keep you company. Whether you've got the shakes, whether you're up late at night and feeling good but everyone else has already gone to bed, whether you're staring at the moon when everybody else is already bivouacked, whatever reason you're listening to this for, Ted Ghostal is here. And he ain't gonna leave you. So wake up tomorrow. You functional drunks, make sure and get enough sleep. Those of you living in rented motels who can only eat dry crackers sometimes and have to sip a beer throughout the day just to keep the shakes away. Not that it'll matter much, but you are loved. WDRNK, signing off.